Iowa Supreme Court last week ruled in favor of the state to deny Planned Parenthood from entering schools to teach sex education with federal funding. This reverses a judge's ruling from last year that found Iowa's law unconstitutional. A majority of justices concluded having abortion providers teach sex education could undermine goals of promoting abstinence and reducing teenage pregnancy. Planned Parenthood reacted by saying they have received funding since 2005 and have used Iowa's state-approved curriculum. Joining us now on Skype is Monica Cline, a former Title X Planned Parenthood-educated sex education instructor turned pro-life advocate. Today, she's the founder of It Takes a Family. Monica, welcome back. Good to speak with you. Planned Parenthood has received funding for sex education in Iowa for the last 16 years. Can you put into perspective for us the significance of this ruling?
This is incredibly significant. I mean, it was such a celebration for the people of Iowa. I'm just so proud of Justice Oakley, who made this ruling. And she is correct. You know, that Iowa has decided that they are a pro-life state. And this curriculum is absolutely about pushing sexuality and sexualizing children and abortion. You know, I went ahead and looked into the programs that they were implementing in Iowa. And all of the programs, I was looking at the research findings, and all of them were showing that they had very little positive results or null effects, or even at times, adverse effects due to these types of interventions on the children. And so, and the other thing I found is that they didn't promote abstinence at all. Mm-hmm. These programs are actually created to teach children about sexuality in order for them to become sexually active. So the judgment was absolutely correct. These programs are about sexualizing children and leading them to abortion. That is what sex education is. Comprehensive sexuality education is all about grooming children and marketing, using it as a marketing tool to lead to abortion.
Wow. Monica, you were never formally a Planned Parenthood employee, but you were trained by them and you worked with them. Can you tell us what is Planned Parenthood's goal with their sex education in schools? Expand on that.
Absolutely. So I was actually employed by a gay organization to do HIV prevention education in the community. And within a month of working with them, they sent me across the street to Planned Parenthood, and I was mentored by the director of sex education of the Greater Austin area Planned Parenthood on how to share this sex education message with children. And one of the first things that she told me was that I was to look at these young kids as young as in middle school. She even mentioned some girls coming in as young as 10. And she said, you need to see them and realize that they are sexually active. And if they haven't, they will be. And it's our job as sex educators to teach them about all forms of sexuality to ensure that they're reducing their risk. And so their goal really is not to ever their philosophy and their belief about our children is highly sexualized. They believe that abstinence is laughable. They see parents as a barrier to service because they know parents are going to protect them. And that's actually something that they told me. They wanted to keep parents out of the picture. So when we're talking about the breakdown of family, it begins with sex education. You know, I was listening also to your previous people on your show just now talking about how abortion is the breakdown of the family. Absolutely. It all begins with sex education. It's about keeping parents out of the picture and ensuring that those children not only dehumanize themselves through the act of sex outside of marriage, but then to dehumanize the preborn child through abortion.
That's so disturbing. Thank you, Monica, for sharing that. We have just about a minute left, but can you tell us when you worked with Planned Parenthood and shared their sex education, did you ever mention or bring up the topic of abortion with students?
Absolutely. So the kind of relationship that I had with Planned Parenthood is that all of the HIV organizations, the STD organizations of the city, as well as Planned Parenthood, we all work together. We just collaborated with one another. We would fill in with one another, for one another, and then we would refer to each other. So if there was someone in the community that wanted women's health care, quote unquote, and abortion, then we would be referring them to Planned Parenthood. And so right now, the pro-life community is always asking, how is it that so many people know about their services? How is it that they're attracting so many people? And it's because they had people like me with government funding, I was paid 40 hours a week to walk the streets of these neighborhoods to not only teach on sex education, but then to refer people to Planned Parenthood. And so there's no question that there's a lot of money being put into so many communities to sexualize children and lead them to the services that Planned Parenthood is providing, which is majority abortion.
Well, I'm just so grateful for your voice and your witness today. And I want to point out to our viewers, they can find out more about your work at ittakesafamily.org. Monica Cline, founder of It Takes a Family, thank you so much for your time.